Little Johnny Jackson's Charlton currently sit 14th in League One, and welcome Premier League strugglers Norwich today at the Valley, with the Canaries having lost their last 4 FA Cup ties against League One sides. Chris Wise watched this one.
FA Cup shocks are bang on trend this weekend, which is potentially bad news if you're the Premier League's bottom side. For League One Charlton, though, they are without their first choice forwards. Both Jayden Stockley and Connor Washington are injured, so there's a rare chance for youngster Mason Burstow. No Todd Campbell or Billy Gilmore in the Norwich squad, but Dean Smith has selected a strong side and one that is getting back to full health. There's 5 changes in all from the team comfortably beaten by Crystal Palace at the end of December. Well, Norwich, the only team in the Premier League's bottom 3 that are left in the FA Cup. Burnley and Newcastle fell at the first hurdle yesterday. Can Charlton Athletic of League One cause another ripple amongst England's elites? Here goes Kabak, and there goes one heck of a challenge from Ryan Innes, who might have done himself a bit of damage in the process. It's set Charlton away though. It's Elliot Lee with it. It's Elliot Lee. It was nearly a brilliant FA Cup goal. Bending away from Tim Krul. Very, very good effort by the man on loan from Luton Town. A man whose dad made many an appearance here at the Valley. Former Charlton and Newcastle United midfielder Rob Lee. Johnny Jackson took over permanently in the days leading up to Christmas. Initially took temporary charge back in October when Nigel Adkins was sacked. Elliot Lee with the chance here. Burstow waiting, Lico waiting, Lico unable to convert. Well, they're getting closer, Charlton. Elliot Lee this time making things happen. Trying to play provider, it's certainly got the Valley pumping. It's a lovely ball, and really, Lico perhaps at least should have been testing Tim Krul. Jackson will know, though, that all the time his team are creating chances. At some point, they are going to have to take one of them. Can't bank on a Premier League team being as loose and ragged as Norwich have been for the whole of the 90 minutes. In this Purrington lead. This is quick from Charlton, and it's effective as well. It's Gilby, it's Alex Gilby, it's Krul who has spilt it over the top of his crossbar. I don't think he meant to let it go, let alone let it go, hurtling towards his own goal, Tim Krul. There was fizz towards him, there was an awkward bounce as well, right in front of Norwich City's goalkeeper. Well, you sense that Dean Smith had to do something at half-time, and he's doing something pretty bold. He's making a triple change at the break. Brandon Williams, Teemu Pukki and Milot Rashica are all coming on for the Canaries. Clare is for Charlton, putting the pressure back on at the start of the second half, Johnny Jackson's team. Dobson, nice turn by Lee. Oh, good finish as well by Lee, only denied by Krul's legs. Jaisimi whips it back in, and Lee. Sargent letting the ball bounce, and he's beaten to it by Burstow, and eventually Sargent has to just crash it away. Norwich City all at sea. Dean Smith must now suddenly be thinking about the prospect of extra time. Just over 10 minutes to go. Charlton still bright and breezy. Elliot Lee, in the constant thorn in Norwich's side. Any time that ball comes to him, he is the one who is wanting to get shots away, wanting to see if he can beat Tim Krul. Quite as positive an effort as the one he produced in the first half, but one that's pleased the manager nonetheless. Now Pukki for Norwich breaking away, and has got the pace to get beyond Pearce. It's Pukki, and it's in from Rashica, and Norwich City lead on a day where they have created little and faced the prospect of a potential shock. Suddenly they might have their passage to round 4. A first ever goal in Norwich City colours for Milot Rashica. A fast and furious break made by Pukki, one substitute, and scored by another of Dean Smith's half-time changes. And as soon as Pukki got the ball in this position, Charlton sensed danger, and Rashica was composed, and it is Charlton Athletic 0, Norwich City 1. Tim Crawl has very quickly tried to set Rashica away, and Dobson's had to go a long way back as well with the man who's made the difference. It's a lovely pass as well. It's Lys Malou, and it's a great save, Henderson. Travelling nicely from Lys Malou towards Henderson's bottom corner, and he has not had a huge amount to do. Liko. Pukki back on him, and in a flash Norwich have it back, and they have 4 forward here as well. Pukki wants it back, and Henderson makes the save. Max Aarons was bursting forwards, didn't want to give it back to Pukki or anyone else, wanted the goal himself. Here's Lee. Back from Kirk. Lee clipped, Charlton free kick. And suddenly Stephen Henderson is saying, no, go on, I'll take the free kick, you get yourself in the box, Sean Clare. Not the first choice set-piece taker. Lifted in by Henderson, won by Pearce, and off the crossbar, and then wide. And Charlton, with their biggest chance of the game, with almost the last kick of the game, and they cannot force it to extra time. It would have been an incredible story, and it would have been fully deserved. It's Purrington off the bar, and then it is wide by Elliot Lee. By the skin of their teeth, Norwich City through to the 4th round of the FA Cup.
I always knew it was going to be a challenging day. You know, the pitch wasn't the greatest, and you know, it was a bit of a challenge. Certainly in the first half, we didn't play. I thought we started the game actually quite well. First 5 or 10 minutes, I thought we were going to be good on the ball, and then we ended up getting into a scrap, and we didn't suit the way we wanted to play, and we had to change it at half time. And I thought second half we were better and created better chances.
I thought we played really well. I thought we was the dominant team in the football match for the majority of it. I felt like we was the ones that was going to score. As the game went on, I was confident that we would score, and I didn't feel particularly threatened the other end. So I'm really proud of my team and my players to put in a performance like that. But at the same time, you know, I'm gutted that we haven't turned that dominance, if you like, into a victory, because I felt that's what we deserve.
Yeah, I'm very happy after my comeback, because I was out for almost 6 weeks, and it came in the right moment for us, and I'm very happy for the win. I'm also happy for the fans, because they are supporting us every week, and they travel all the way till here, so I'm happy for them and for us.
Will this win as a whole give your team a lift, not just because you're through in the FA Cup, but you just needed to break that cycle of defeats, didn't you? Yeah,
no, it gives everybody a lift. You know, the manner of the performance, maybe not. Certainly first half, but certainly just getting the win breaks the duck.
So some positives for Norwich City, and like Spurs a little earlier, Norwich ultimately had to rely on their substitutes. But should Charlton have won it?
They should. They certainly shouldn't have lost the game in normal time. You saw Johnny Jackson there in his interview. You felt his pain come across. He felt that was a chance missed, because his team were terrific, especially in the first half. They overran Norwich. Their energy was better. Their desire was better. Created a couple of opportunities. Just lacked that cutting edge. Elliot Lee was in the heart of many things that happened positively for Charlton. Again, getting down into the wide areas. This is a big chance, cutting it into that area. Jonathan Liko, he's got to score. And then this was the biggest chance of all. Last moments of the game. Brilliant header from Pearce, and Purrington has a really big opportunity. You see, in this moment, the ball falls to him 5 yards out, centre of goal. You've got to find a way of putting that into the back of the goal. And then the desire to get that goal again. Blackett-Taylor, Elliot Lee, just getting in each other's way, and that moment had gone. But it wasn't through a lack of effort. No. It was just through a lack of cutting edge in the end.
As for the goal itself, was it a lack of communication, Stephen, that cost Charlton?
Yeah, it was, and it was something Johnny Jackson will be very frustrated about, bringing on an experienced player in Chris Gunter, and there just has to be more communication. They were outstanding all game. They were hunting in packs. They were making sure they were man for man. But just this moment here, Chris Gunter going up for the header, tell him to either get out the way and you're going to clear everything out, or just drop back into position. And what it does, it leaves them disjointed at the back now. The 3 players are out of the position. Jason Pearce is now being led by Pukki, who's got 2 yards ahead of him. And then it's about the composure of Pukki. What are you going to do? You're going to have your strike at goal, or you're going to pick out your strike partner. And Rashica with the finish, a really good counter-attacking goal. But Johnny Jackson will be furious because that one moment of lack of concentration, which could have just been headed out for a simple throw-in, ends up conceding a goal.
And as Dean Smith alluded to there, Leon, it's all about using that as a springboard now, isn't it, for the Premier League?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's only their 4th win this season. I think he'll be pleased, he said, to get more minutes into Pukki, into Rashica, to have them back. Rashica's been out for 6 weeks, as he mentioned, so he could be a big player for them in the rest of the